Atlanta thought it was settling into another quiet night, but quiet never lasts in a city fueled by music, gossip, and reality television. At 10:47 p.m., the silence cracked when Jasmine Washington pressed post on her private Instagram story. No flashy captions, no dramatic filters, no music, just a single photo resting on a marble countertop. At first glance, it seemed meaningless, until people zoomed in. The words at the top screamed louder than any emoji ever could. DNA test results. And under the section labeled Alleged Father, the name in bold letters, Kirk Frost. Below it, the result, 99.9% probability of paternity. The mother's name had been blacked out with thick marker, but the baby's date of birth was right there, less than a year ago. For years, whispers had shadowed Kirk and Rasheeda's marriage. Rumors of affairs, side babies, betrayals swept under rugs for the sake of image. But this wasn't whispers. This wasn't speculation. This was a document. It was receipts, undeniable, in-your-face evidence. And it came from the woman fans never stopped accusing him of being entangled with Jasmine. Her close friends list barely had 20 people, but nothing in the love and hip-hop universe ever stays private. Someone screen-recorded the story, cropped it, and uploaded it on Twitter with the caption, Jasmine, are you trying to tell us something? By the time it hit 200 likes, a popular gossip page reposted it. Within minutes, hashtags flared up. Kirk Frost baby scandal. Jasmine receipts. Second baby confirmed. The wildfire had begun. The reactions were merciless. So this is why Kirk been looking like he praying for forgiveness every time he steps outside? Rasheeda better go live before Jasmine wins the narrative. By midnight, the Shade Room dropped the blurred screenshot with the caption, Jasmine playing no games tonight. Thoughts? That was all it took. The internet turned into a courtroom. Some fans shouted vindication. I knew it, Kirk allergic to monogamy. Others dismissed it. She waited until cameras rolled. This gotta be storyline. But what nobody could brush off was the date on the test. Only 3 months old. This wasn't old dirt. This was new betrayal, happening while Kirk smiled for cameras and branded himself as a redeemed husband. By 1 a.m., the internet had transformed into a detective agency. Fans dug up Jasmine's past Instagram posts, matching the marble countertop in the DNA picture to one she'd shown before. Others combed through Kirk's timeline, pointing out a business trip to Miami that coincided with the baby's conception. Gossip of the City posted a side-by-side collage of the baby's blurry side profile against one of Kirk's sons, captioning, "The genes don't lie." Lipstick Alley threads stretched past 20 pages. The cast began to chime in. Carly? Red uploaded a selfie with the caption, the math ain't mathing, boo. Spice reposted the DNA screenshot with nothing but side-eye emojis. Sierra Gates wrote across a black screen, "Told y'all." And through it all, Rasheeda remained silent. No likes, no quotes, no reactions, nothing. And silence from her was scarier than any rant, because silence meant strategy. Silence meant she was boiling. Silence meant she was waiting for the perfect moment to strike. By sunrise, the scandal had jumped from blogs to mainstream media. TMZ ran with the headline, Love and hip-hop star Kirk Frost allegedly fathers another child. DNA. Test leaked. Hot 97 debated it on air. Even morning talk shows mentioned it, not as gossip, but as a case study of betrayal in the spotlight. Meanwhile, Jasmine made her next chess move. Instead of ranting, she doubled down with one simple story. Her manicured hand holding a baby bottle with the caption, "Receipts don't lie." Fans refreshed her page like it was CNN breaking news. And then came the siren notification at 10:02 a.m. Jasmine Washington is live. Within minutes, over 10,000 people joined. She appeared on screen, calm, sipping iced coffee, her tone sharp. "So I guess y'all saw it," she said. "Yes, it's real. No, it's not photoshopped. And yes, that's Kirk's baby." The comments went wild. "Girl, drop the whole folder. Where's Rasheeda? Not DNA receipts before breakfast." Jasmine leaned closer, lowering her voice like she was sharing a secret. "You know what's crazy? I tried to keep it private. I tried to handle it off camera, off Instagram, but Kirk wanted to act like I was lying. So here we are. Then she reached off screen, returning with a thick manila folder. She tapped it with a smirk. And just so we're clear, this ain't all I got. The numbers shot up, 20,000, 30,000, then more. She revealed the baby was 8 months old, that Kirk had been financially supporting the child with quiet direct deposits and secret visits. He's been sneaking around thinking he's slick, she said. Meanwhile, I'm the one losing sleep. The one at the doctor visits while he smiles in Rasheeda's face like husband of the year. And then came the line that detonated the internet. And yes, Rasheeda knows. She's known for months. She just didn't think I'd make it public. That single sentence flipped everything. Fans didn't just drag Kirk now. They turned on Rasheeda, questioning whether she had sacrificed her dignity to protect her brand. Some pitied her, calling her trapped. Others accused her of selling her pride for storyline. Either way, the silence from her pages was deafening. By early afternoon, the fire spread again. An Instagram account claiming to be the baby's godmother posted a blurry photo of Kirk holding a bundled infant. The caption, "He said nobody would ever see this picture. Oops." The blogs pounced. Now the scandal wasn't just paperwork, it had a face. At 2:07 p.m., Rasheeda finally broke her silence. She posted a black screen with white text. "You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. God bless." Fans flooded her comments. "Sis, blink twice if you're divorcing him. Please let Carly drive you to the lawyer's office." By evening, production vans were spotted outside Prest and Frost Bistro. Cameras rolled. Inside her boutique, Rasheeda sat at the counter, her phone face down. A producer asked carefully, "So, have you seen Jasmine's posts?" She laughed bitterly. "Baby seen them? Everybody's seen them. My mama seen them. The wrestlers done seen them. Shoot, the pastor at my church done seen them. What I ain't seen? My husband explaining a damn thing." Across town, cameras caught Kirk pacing the empty Frost Bistro, phone pressed to his ear. His voice was low but desperate. "Wasn't supposed to go public. I'll handle it." But handling it wasn't possible anymore. The truth was already too loud. By nightfall, VH1 staged the showdown. 3 chairs, a black backdrop, cameras everywhere. Kirk on one end, Jasmine on the other, Rasheeda in the middle. Silence hung thick until Jasmine smirked. "So you gonna say it, or should I?" Kirk muttered. "Ain't nothing to say." Rasheeda's head snapped toward him. "Nothing to say? The whole internet got more to say than you." Jasmine opened her folder, sliding papers across the table. "These don't lie. DNA test, bank statements. He's been paying quietly while painting me as a liar." The livestream comment section erupted. "Kirk caught in 4K again? Rasheeda's patience is unreal." Jasmine brought the whole archive. And then Jasmine revealed one more dagger. Screenshots of recent texts between Kirk and another woman. Explicit. Shameless. Dated just weeks ago. Rasheeda's hand slammed the chair arm. "So let me get this right. A second baby, still creeping. And you think I'ma sit here and let you embarrass me? Nah, I'm done." She stood and walked. Out, heels clicking, the door slamming behind her. Cameras followed her to the lot, filming every step. Inside, Kirk froze, slumped. Jasmine stacked her folder calmly, smirking. "Get comfortable, Kirk. I'm just getting started." 2 days after the sit-down where Rasheeda stormed out, the Frost scandal had only grown bigger. Clips of her slamming. The armrest and walking away had gone viral, captioned by fans as her queen walk-off. Memes plastered timelines, comparing her exit to courtroom dramas and action movies. The internet dragged Kirk relentlessly. Old clips of him confessing past cheating resurfaced with captions like, "History repeats itself when you never learn." Twitter gave him new nicknames daily, from Atlanta's fertility king to the man who can't count condoms. The only person thriving in the chaos was Jasmine, who hadn't needed to say much since her live. The internet did her work for her, painting her as the woman with receipts, calm in her delivery, ruthless in her timing. VH1 executives couldn't believe their luck. They knew they were sitting on a cultural event, and producers scrambled to stage the next taping. Leaks spread online. Someone new was coming into the picture. A mystery woman. Another piece of the puzzle. Speculation exploded. Was it another side chick? The baby's godmother? Or another mother altogether? The guesses flew fast, but by afternoon, one name kept appearing in gossip circles. Tia. When the cameras rolled for the second sit-down, the energy in the room was heavier than ever. Kirk sat on the couch, hunched, his face hidden under a baseball cap, his body language screaming defeat. Jasmine walked in next, folder in hand, her smirk sharp as a blade, her eyes glittering with satisfaction. She didn't glance at Kirk, didn't acknowledge him, just sat down and crossed her legs like she had already won. Then came Tia, a woman the public had only just begun to piece together. She wore white, her small but undeniable baby bump visible. She moved stiffly, nervous under the weight of cameras, but she sat down anyway. And then, like thunder rolling into the room, Rasheeda entered. Dressed in fierce colors, emerald green with gold accents, she didn't speak, didn't smile. She simply walked in, heels striking the floor with precision, and sat with her arms folded, her stare locked on her husband. The tension was unbearable. Even the crew, used to filming explosive moments, barely breathed. Rasheeda was the first to break the silence. Her voice was cold, sharp. So here we are again, Kirk. You got Jasmine here with a DNA test, you got Tia sitting here carrying another, and you got me, the woman who stood by you through everything. What's the story this time? What's the lie? Kirk swallowed hard, voice low. Rasheeda, I made mistakes, but it ain't what it looks like. Jasmine laughed, loud and mocking. Not what it looks like? Boy, please. The DNA says otherwise. The deposits say otherwise. Stop acting like you can rewrite what's already written in black and white. Tia leaned forward, her hands trembling slightly as they rested on her stomach. I didn't come here to fight. I didn't even know about Jasmine when I met him. He told me he was separated, that he wasn't with you anymore. By the time I realized the truth, I was already pregnant. I didn't ask to be dragged into this circus. The livestream comments lit up instantly. Separated on what planet? Girl, he told you the same lie he told Jasmine. This man got a script. Rasheeda shook her head, laughing bitterly. So let me get this straight. You out here? Telling women you separated while you sleeping in my house, eating my food, filming family dinners with me for TV? You ain't separated from nothing but the truth, Kirk muttered under his breath. This ain't how it was supposed to go. Jasmine smirked. Oh, but it is how it goes. You thought you could silence me, paint me as the liar, make me look like the bitter ex. But here I am with receipts, with proof, with a baby. You can't erase me. She tapped her folder. And don't worry, this ain't even the half of it. That was when Tia dropped her bomb. Her voice cracked, but her words cut through the silence. Y'all keep asking about the $15,000. Yes, he sent it, but it wasn't hush money. It was because I'm pregnant, and he promised he'd help. The room gasped. Producers' eyes widened. Crew members froze in place. The IA livestream comment section exploded. Not baby number 3. Rasheeda girl, call the lawyer now. Kirk Frost got more kids than seasons on VH1. Rasheeda sat silent for a long moment, her stare drilling into her husband. Then she leaned forward, voice heavy with contempt. So that's who you are. A man who cheats, lies, and then pays out to keep women quiet. A man who humiliates his wife while calling himself a husband. A man who invests more in betrayal than in his own family. You ain't my partner, Kirk. You my enemy. She stood up, her chair scraping against the floor. You want Jasmine, you want Tia, you want whoever else is waiting in line? You can keep them, but you don't get to keep me. Not this time. Not ever again. She walked out, her heels clicking like gunfire, her car door slamming, echoing like a gavel. The cameras captured every second. Inside, Kirk slumped on the couch, his hands over his face. Jasmine leaned back, smirking, her folder resting like a crown in her lap. Tia sat trembling, her eyes glassy, her body stiff. The producers didn't yell cut. They let the silence drag on, knowing they had just filmed a moment that would live in reality TV history. By morning, the internet was ablaze. Twitter renamed Kirk Atlanta's fertility king. Tamar Braxton tweeted, Chilly, the fertility is strong with this one. Carly Red went live again, laughing until tears streamed down her face. Didn't I tell y'all? Didn't I say it? The blogs wrote double headlines: Kirk Frost facing third baby scandal, and mystery woman confirms pregnancy. But the biggest explosion came later that day when Tia herself went live. At 9:14 a.m., she posted a black and white photo, captioned, "Since my name out there now, I might as well tell my truth. 7 p.m. live." By evening, her follower count had shot from 2,000 to 60,000. Gossip pages set alarms, fans crowded her, comments, and when she finally went live, tens of thousands tuned in. Her voice shook, but she looked into the camera. "Yes, I'm Tia. Yes, I'm pregnant. And no, I didn't know about Jasmine at first. He told me he was separated. I believed him. By the time I realized the truth, I was already here." The comments flew. "Separated on Mars? Sis, you Rasheeda part 2. Not another Frost storyline." Then she dropped the line that turned the internet upside down again. "I wasn't gonna say this, but I'm tired of being painted as just a side chick. I've been to his house, I've met his friends, and now I'm carrying his child. So if y'all think this scandal's over, think again." The live stream froze for a second before erupting. Fans screamed in the comments. Blogs had their headlines ready before she ended the stream. YouTube commentators broke down every second. Even celebrities outside the franchise weighed in, some laughing, others expressing pity for Rasheeda. And still, Rasheeda remained silent. No posts, no quotes, just absence. But her absence spoke louder than words. Fans speculated she was at a lawyer's office, or filming her own response with VH1. Whatever it was, everyone knew she wasn't done. At midnight, Kirk tried to push back. He posted a black screen on Instagram with the words, "Y'all believe. Anything you hear, stop playing with my family." The comments dragged him mercilessly. Which family, Kirk? The first, the second, or the third? You got more families than Netflix. His credibility was gone. His name was a punchline. And as Atlanta finally tried to sleep, VH1 producers didn't. They were already planning the next taping. This time, they wanted all four, Kirk, Rasheeda, Jasmine, and Tia, in the same room, cameras rolling with nowhere left to hide. By the time the final taping was arranged, Atlanta was buzzing like a city preparing for a storm. Everyone knew this wasn't just another love and hip-hop episode. It was the kind of scandal that would define the franchise for years. Blogs updated every hour, gossip channels camped on Instagram Live, and fans speculated endlessly about what would happen when all the players finally sat face to face. Kirk, Rasheeda, Jasmine, and now Tia, 4 people connected by betrayal, receipts, and humiliation. VH1 producers didn't need to script a thing. Real life had already given them the perfect finale. The set was dressed like a courtroom, and a reunion show rolled into one. A plush white couch sat in the center for Kirk, while 3 chairs faced him like a jury. One for Jasmine, one for Tia, and one for Rasheeda. Security was doubled, not because they feared physical violence, but because the tension in the room was so thick it felt combustible. Kirk arrived first. He shuffled in quietly, wearing all black, his cap pulled low, his face pale and hollow. The confident husband who used to laugh off scandals had disappeared. This was a man worn down, cornered, beaten by headlines he couldn't outrun. Jasmine came next, strutting in with her infamous manila folder tucked under her arm like a sword. She crossed her legs and leaned back, smirk already planted, her energy calm but deadly. She had played this game before, and she knew she was, holding the winning cards. Moments later, Tia entered, nervous and stiff, her fitted dress outlining the baby bump that had made her part of this storyline, whether she wanted it or not. She didn't smile. She didn't smirk. She just sat down, clutching her hands, her eyes darting between the cameras and the floor. And then came the moment everyone had been waiting for. The sound of heels echoed across the set. Rasheeda walked in like a verdict. Dressed in sharp black and gold, her posture regal, her face unreadable, she didn't acknowledge anyone. She walked straight to her chair, sat down, crossed her legs, and locked her gaze on Kirk like she was looking straight through him. The producers gave the signal. The cameras rolled. Silence hung heavy until Rasheeda finally spoke. Her voice was calm, almost too calm, but every syllable hit like a hammer. So, Kirk, you got Jasmine with a DNA test. You got Tia carrying your baby. And you got me, the wife you humiliated again and again. What's the lie this time? What excuse you got left? Kirk shifted in his seat, his throat tight. Rasheeda, it ain't like how it looks. I made mistakes, but it got twisted. Jasmine burst out laughing. Not how it looks. Boy, stop. The DNA don't lie. The deposits don't lie. You been playing husband of the year on TV, but in real life? You father of the year somewhere else. She tapped her folder with manicured nails, the sound sharp against the silence. And this is just the beginning. I got more. Tia leaned forward, her voice trembling. I didn't want this. I didn't know about Jasmine when I met him. He told me he was separated, told me he wasn't with you anymore. By the time I realized the truth, I was already pregnant. I didn't come here to embarrass anyone. I just want honesty. The livestream comments exploded instantly. Separated where? On Mars? Sis, you believed the same lie he told everyone. At this point, Kirk needs his own Maury special. Rasheeda sat still, her arms crossed, her laugh bitter. So, let me get this straight. While I was out here protecting this family, running businesses, defending your name, you were out telling women you were separated? You weren't separated from nothing but the truth. Kirk muttered, This ain't how it was supposed to go. Jasmine leaned forward, her voice dripping with venom. Oh, but this is exactly how it's supposed to go. You tried to silence me, make me look crazy, paint me as the liar. But now the world sees who the liar really is. You can't spin this, Kirk. The receipts are too loud. And then Rasheeda made her move. She reached into her purse and pulled out a small silver USB drive. She handed it to a producer without looking away from her husband. Play it. The big screen behind them flickered to life. Grainy hotel security footage filled the room, time-stamped 6 weeks after Jasmine's baby had been born. The video showed Kirk walking into a hotel late at night, his arm brushing against a woman beside him. The woman was Tia. The room gasped. Tia's mouth fell open. Wait, I didn't even know about Jasmine's baby then. You were already lying? Her voice cracked, her face pale. Rasheeda's voice rose, anger finally breaking through her calm. So let me get this right. While Jasmine was at home with a newborn, you were creeping into hotels with her. While I was standing by your side? Smiling for cameras, you were sneaking out back doors at midnight. You didn't just betray me. You betrayed everyone. The livestream comments blew up instantly. Not the USB drop. Rasheeda came with evidence. Kirk caught in. 4K again? Jasmine clapped her hands slowly, mocking. Well, look at that. Guess we all part of the circus now. But don't worry, Kirk, the clown suit fits you best. Tia broke down in tears, covering her face with her hands. She shook her head, her body trembling. She had walked in hoping to explain herself, but instead she was blindsided by the truth she hadn't even known. Kirk sat frozen, his hands covering his face. His voice was muffled, barely audible. This ain't how it was supposed to be. But Rasheeda wasn't done. She rose from her chair, her heels striking the floor like thunder. You embarrassed me. You embarrassed our children. You embarrassed our businesses. And you think I'll let you embarrass me again? Nah. You want Jasmine? You want Tia? You want whoever else is waiting to pop up next week? Keep them. But you don't get to keep me. I'm done. She turned and walked out, the sound of the door slamming behind her echoing like a verdict. The cameras followed her all the way to the parking lot, capturing her sliding into her car, her face unflinching, her eyes hard. Back inside, Kirk sat crumpled on the couch looking like a man who had lost everything. Jasmine calmly gathered, her folder smirking with satisfaction, while Tia sobbed quietly, realizing she had been a pawn in a game she couldn't win. The producers didn't cut the cameras. They let the silence linger, knowing they had captured the kind of raw implosion that would live forever in love and hip-hop history. By midnight, clips of the taping flooded every corner of the internet. Memes of Rasheeda's USB drop spread like wildfire. Blogs ran headlines like Rasheeda ends Kirk Frost with evidence and the Frost marriage implodes on camera. Even mainstream outlets covered it, calling it one of the most explosive reality TV moments of the decade. But even as the dust seemed to settle, whispers started again. Another woman, someone from Kirk's past, had allegedly contacted producers with her own story. And word spread that VH1 wasn't done. They were already preparing another special episode, teasing that the Frost saga wasn't over, just evolving. For now, though, the damage was clear. The brand Kirk and Rasheeda had built was shattered. Jasmine had proven her point. Tia had revealed her truth. And Rasheeda, with a USB and a final walkout, had reclaimed her power. Whatever happened next, one thing was certain. Nothing would ever put the Frost name back together again.